안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
저는 한국어 선생님 장현옥입니다.
감사합니다. In our last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Korean using polite language. Today, we are going to learn how to say thank you and I'm sorry in Korean.
So, Gerhard, do you know how to say thank you in Korean?
Yes, I've heard 감사합니다 and 고맙습니다.
That's correct. Both mean thank you. But do you know the difference between them?
I'm not sure. Are they used in different situations?
Not exactly. Both expressions are polite and commonly used, but there is a subtle difference based on their origin. 감사합니다 comes from 감사, which means gratitude, and is of Chinese origin. 감사합니다 sounds slightly more formal than 고맙습니다. 고맙습니다 comes from the native Korean verb gomabda, meaning to be thankful.
Does that mean words of Chinese origin sound more formal?
Yes, in Korean, words derived from Chinese characters often sounds more formal. Therefore, 감사합니다 is perceived as slightly more formal than 고맙습니다. We find many words of Chinese origin in Korean language. That's also why there are often two versions of a word with the same meaning. Let's break down 감사합니다. 감사 means gratitude. 합니다 means to do. From the infinitive verb 하다 in the 니다 form. So, literally, 감사합니다 means I do gratitude and is used as a thank you.
So when should we use 감사합니다 versus 고맙습니다?
You can use both in most situations, but 감사합니다 is more commonly used, especially in formal settings.
I noticed that both expressions end with nida. That's the nida form we learned earlier, right?
Yes, both 감사합니다 and 고맙습니다 are in the nida form, which is used in formal situations.
Is there a yo form for these expressions as well?
There is, but when expressing gratitude because of the context of the situation, we usually stick to the nida form to convey even more politeness. If you want to say thank you very much or thanks a lot, you can add 정말 or 진짜 before 감사합니다. 정말 감사합니다. 진짜 감사합니다.
What do 정말 and 진짜 mean?
Both mean really or truly. 정말 is used more in written Korean and formal speech, while 진짜 is commonly used by younger people in spoken Korean.
So if I want to be more formal, I should use 정말 감사합니다 instead of 진짜 감사합니다.
Exactly.
Can you remember imnida from the last lesson? In imnida, you find an exception when it comes to pronunciation. It's written as 입니다, but it's pronounced as imnida. The same applies to
감사합니다. 고맙습니다. 합니다. 씁니다. 감사합니다. 고맙습니다.
If you want to know exactly why it's pronounced that way, you find a video on what happens when 받침부 meets 네 at the beginning of the next syllable in our Korean pronunciation exceptions playlist. There is a link in the description below.
Now let's learn how to apologize in Korean. There are two common expressions. 죄송합니다. 미안합니다.
Do they both mean I'm sorry?
Yes, but 죄송합니다 is more formal and polite than 미안합니다.
And when should we use each of those?
Use 죄송합니다 when you want to express a sincere apology, especially in formal situations or to someone older or of higher status. 미안합니다 is more often used by older people for younger people and people of higher status for people of lower status.
So if I bump into someone on the street, for example, I should use 죄송합니다.
Yes, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
죄송합니다.
So we use 죄송합니다 and 미안합니다 when we've made a mistake or caused an inconvenience, arriving late to a meeting, accidentally stepping on someone's foot, when we forget to do something we promised. What if I need to get through a crowded place and people are blocking my way? In English, I might say, excuse me or I'm sorry.
In Korean, we also don't use 죄송합니다 in that situation. You would say 잠깐만요, 잠시만요. 잠시만요.
What do those phrases mean?
Both mean just a moment, meaning excuse me for a moment. 잠깐 and 잠시 both refer to a short time. 만 means only and 요 as politeness.
So by saying 잠깐만요, we are literally saying only a short time, meaning just a moment, referring to the disturbance we caused. And that's how we politely ask people to let us pass.
Exactly. When you need to politely pass by or excuse yourself for disturbing someone. 잠깐만요 or 잠시만요 are the right expressions to use.
If a friend tells me some bad news, in English I might say, I'm sorry to hear that. Would I use 죄송합니다 in that situation?
In Korean, we don't use 죄송합니다 in that context. Instead, you might say, 정말요? 어떡해요?
Where's my bike? Oh my God! Someone stole it!
정말요? 어떡해요?
What does that mean?
정말요 means really? And 어떡해요 means what are you going to do? Or how will you handle it? It's a way to express sympathy or concern.
If I want to get someone's attention like a waiter in a restaurant, what should I say?
You can say 저기요.
And what does 저기요 mean?
저기 means over there. And 요 makes it polite. It's like saying excuse me to get someone's attention. But we are actually just saying over here. 아, 저기요.
네?
Where's the Mozart's birthplace?
It's right here.
고맙습니다.
아, 저기요.
네? 고맙습니다.
So I wouldn't use 저기요 when trying to get off a bus, a crowded bus where people are in front of me, when I want to say, can I please pass through? Excuse me.
Correct. In that case, you say 잠깐만요 to indicate you need to get through. 잠깐만요.
We would use 저기요 when we call the waiter in a restaurant, for example, or when we want someone's attention. 저기요.
In Korean culture, we rarely address people directly with you. Instead, we use expressions like 저기요 to politely get someone's attention without directly referring to them. When we address someone directly, we would use honorifics, which we learn in the next lesson, lesson number 5. An interesting fact is that there isn't even a formal personal pronoun for the second person, you. Because in formal speech, we just don't address anyone directly with the second person pronoun, you.
I've heard 실례합니다 also means excuse me. When do we use that?
실례합니다 is a very formal way of saying excuse me, but it's not commonly used in everyday conversation. It's more often used by older men or in very formal situations.
So it's better to stick to 저기요 or 잠깐만요.
Yes, those are more commonly used and appropriate in most situations.
Let's summarize what we've learned. 감사합니다 and 고맙습니다 both mean thank you, with 감사합니다 being slightly more formal. To say thank you very much, we can say 정말 감사합니다 or 진짜 감사합니다. 죄송합니다 and 미안합니다 both mean I'm sorry, with 죄송합니다 being slightly more formal. Use 잠깐만요 or 잠시만요 when you need to pass by someone. Use 저기요 to get someone's attention. We don't use 죄송합니다 when responding to bad news. Instead, we express sympathy by asking 정말요? 어떻게요? 실례합니다 is very formal and not commonly used.
Thank you all for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much. 정말 감사합니다.
See you next time. 안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 계세요.